Survivor Specialist Phil and Alexa are back with another season 39 tell-all, and tonight we have Swagman Tommy. That's what it says.
Who the hell is that?
I'm not going to call him the winner of season 39. I'm going to call him Swagman Tommy.
Yeah, it's self-proclaimed Swagman, but it's still proclaimed. So that's how I will be referenced for the rest of the podcast, I hope.
Some people did their Twitter and Instagram handles, but I think I prefer Swagman Tommy.
Thank you. Yeah. We could have done podcast time with Tommy, like you said, but I think Swagman Tommy is a nice little ring to it. So
or Six Forges.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah. So on the island, I would call myself 6'4", just 6'4" and gorgeous. And it was so funny how mad that would make Elaine. Elaine would get so furious, and she'd be like, first of all, you're probably 6'3.5". Second of all, you're a stupid idiot. And like, she's like, I'm going to throw punch you if I can get up there. But I'm like, you can't get up there because I'm 6'4" just. And then she would storm away and get all mad at me and everything like that.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. But, I had so many stupid things. I called myself Gas Tom, from
Gaston.
Gaston. Wow.
I called myself Gas Tom.
Think very highly of yourself.
Yeah, Magic Tom. And I put on some Magic Mike performances. None of that. I guess because it's a G-rated show, I couldn't put that on there. But yeah,
not even a secret scene. That sucks.
We are R-rated though, Tommy.
Oh yeah, well, I can't do that on the podcast. My students might be watching. I'm actually
hi kids.
Past my bedtime too, so you all guys owe me a beer maybe on Friday, Alexa. So
I got you.
All right.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for mine that you owe me. I'm just gonna keep like this whole rumor going that you owe me a beer. Dean's mom owes me a beer. There's so many people who owe me beers. So.
Wait, the first time I met you, I got you your beer right away.
You did. That was a very good one.
You didn't even have $1 million check then.
Yeah, I know.
He was still unsure if he was gonna win.
Teaching money.
Yeah, sorry. Shutting off the phone.
Oh, okay. The little ding there.
That was actually Elaine. So let's see what she says.
There you go.
She's probably already pissed you. You slandered her like 2 minutes in.
I actually can't say what she wrote, but
this is their fourth grade kids watching this.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a little treat for you.
Well, it is a school night though, and we're like 2 minutes into the podcast already, and we haven't actually really talked Survivor, Tommy. I don't want you like it's bad enough that you are the most boring winner in the history of the show, and now it's going to be late at night on a Wednesday, and we're going to expect people to stay awake. This is not easy for a lot of listeners.
I'm at the top of my game at like 5 a.m. I'm wide awake. Nicole, my fiance, gets so mad because that's when I'm at my prime. So not only am I usually boring, but 9:30 at night, way past my bedtime, people are going to fall asleep about 10 minutes into this podcast. You probably lost viewers already because this is when I'm exhausted.
I can't wait for you to fall asleep in the middle of this podcast.
I probably will. I'm actually freaking exhausted. But we'll rock through this. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, you're the one who you can actually tell us what happened. So we've done 5 of these. We've done for anybody who hasn't actually listened to any of them. We did Jamal, we did Nora, we did Missy, we did Dean, and we did Elaine. And now we're doing Tommy.
Yeah. So you get the truth.
Yeah, you're the winner. So everything you say kind of just makes all those other ones pointless. No offense to anybody I just named, but if you contradict anything they say, it's like, well, we kind of have to believe Tommy because he won. So you can really run people through the mud here if you want to.
Yeah, exactly. And I plan to do that. So, cheers, tea time with Tommy. So let's get to it.
Already gotten started. Yeah. Well, my favorite part is that, you have notoriously been hijacking every single one of these, hanging out in the chat. It's either you or someone who's pretending to be you, or in some situations it's both you and someone pretending to be you. Yeah. My favorite part is Nora going on about how you didn't do squat around camp, and it sounds like you agreed with that.
Yeah. So here's my whole deal with that. Day one, you have to work. You have to work really hard. So my strategy from day one was not get stuck in a role. So the first thing I want to do is like get that bro alliance. So there was Jamal, there was Jack, there was Dan. We're the heavy lifters. We're getting all the bamboo. We're cutting down trees. We're trying to build that. So I said, yeah, I'll help you. I'll help you gather all these things. So I was like, oh, Jack, let's go and get some bamboo. So I had some one-on-one time with him there. We talked, surfing like you talked about, and, meeting up in Virginia and where he lives. And then I was able to like, oh, Jamal, you need to help climbing the tree and putting the bamboos in. So let me do that. And me and Jamal started talking. And then Dan, I was hammering things in with him. But then I was like, I've always heard it too. You see it on Reddit, you see everything where it's like the women are stuck doing the palm fronting, the men are doing the heavy lifting. So I was like, you know what? Let's switch this up. Let me start bonding with some girls. So then I walked over. I was like, guys, I want to learn how to palm front. Can you teach me? So Kelly and Molly were sitting there helping me palm front and stuff like that. So I was doing things. I was doing every little thing. I was getting water for everybody just so I knew I could have a one-on-one conversation with everybody. But then probably after day one, I didn't do really much at all. But it's funny, you just can't be the laziest person out there. And I know Lauren said she's going to stop by in here a little bit later, but I'll say that now since she's not there. She was a little bit lazier than me, so I got away with it. Because people complain to me, Lauren does nothing. I'm like, yeah, like not everyone can work hard as me and you, and I'm going out here, getting all these wood and everything. But I worked around it. But especially, we'll get to with the fire and all that. I made it a point. I told my family going out, I can make fire like crazy. I practice every single day. There was not one day I did not practice fire. But I told them I will not make a fire unless I need it on the last day, because if you show you can make fire, that higher your threat level. And I'm all about lowering my threat level. So I didn't make fire. But after day one, I know I went on a tangent. I really, really stopped working. I was exhausted. It really killed me out there. And Nora, the coconut queen, literally would cut open, like no exaggeration. She broke the world record for most coconuts opened in history. So she would feed me and like a little birdie, like just like feed me my little coconut whenever I was hungry.
So you're over here being like fed, you're doing nothing after day one. Is this your advice to anybody who's ever going to play Survivor again? Like, just don't do shit. Just talk to people and pretend you're the guy digging the trench, your partner's digging a trench, and then you got like the one guy who's just talking, like leaning over the shovel, that's you, and the other guy who's sweating like crazy. Is that your advice?
To be honest, be with the group, especially day one. Jason was this, so I did work my tail off day one, but I wouldn't say don't do anything. But I made sure that I was helping people do the work. They were doing the work. I was just there holding the tree stump. Jason tells a story. He goes, we were splitting bamboo, and it was Jamal and Jack. One would hold, and Jack would hit. So it was me and Jason partnered. So Jason's like, well, you're bigger. You hammer the machete through it. And I was like, no, I'm taller. I'll hold the bamboo, and you slice it. And he's just looking at me like, damn. I don't know if it's advice because it could backfire, and I don't want anyone to go home for being, I guess, quote unquote, not working around camp. But the game has changed so much from season one to now. You don't even see us survive on the island anymore. It's not about surviving. It's not about who works harder at camp. It's about who can build those social bonds and make it to the end. So that's what I focused on. So I would gather wood a lot because gathering wood allows you to go and have those one-on-one conversations with people. So I would gather wood all the time with different people, but was I going nuts, cutting coconuts and doing things like that? No.
Yeah. And considering you're saying the only one who was lazier than you was Lauren, it doesn't seem like laziness affected anybody because you two were sitting in 3 and 4, or we're sitting in the final 4, not 3 and 4. You were sitting in the final 4 and your names never came up, at least in the early portion of the game. So it doesn't seem like it mattered at all. And
anytime my name came up or Lauren's name came up, it wasn't because of work ethic or camp life. It was because we were threats at certain points in the game. So yeah, I really, it's crazy how the game has shifted. But even Dean said yesterday when I was listening to the podcast, they asked us in the final 3, they go, so talk about camp life. And me and Dean looked at each other and we just kind of laughed. We're like, do you really care? Like, who cut open
Why?
Like, is that how do you get $1 million because you open coconuts or you split bamboo? No, you win $1 million because of what you do in the game and the social bonds you build and the moves you make. So that's the way the game is. It's season 39. It's not season 1 anymore.
Yeah. And so you go on to win, and everybody here says you don't do anything, but they all say it with a smile on their face because they like you. And I think that at the end of the day is more important. But then when I've talked to you a couple times, and every time you tell me you had a different number 1. So can you please explain to everybody who your actual number 1 was? Because I swear, I've talked to Tommy like 4 different times in person, and every single time it's a different number 1.
He's playing you, Phil.
He's trying to.
So this will bring me all the way back to casting. So when you go to casting, the people that don't know, we were the first casting for Jeff Probst, right? So Lynn Smillman, I don't know what happened with her. She got let go or she quit, whatever happened. But now Jeff runs casting. So now what happens is, you send in your video, which I did. I sent in a 3-minute video. I got a call. It's like 1 or 2 phone call interviews. And then you Skype. You Skype with Matt Van Wagman. And then you go on to Jeff. If they like you, they bring you to finals. So I was at the first finals in October. And I think that's the most important one to be, because I think 10 out of the 20 of us were in that casting finals. Mm-hmm. And you hear this all the time in these podcasts. It's those familiar faces that, that you end up bonding with right on the island, because you never got to speak with them, but you see them at the pool time. You see them at lunch and breakfast and dinner. At least you've seen them probably 10 times. So those are the first people like, oh my God, remember when you fell when you got this? But there's actually a funny story where Tommy and his mommy started. Janet was in my finals for casting, and something about her I just loved. And I would always make sure to sit by her. You couldn't sit at the same table. And one day, ADHD me, you sit at breakfast and it's like 2 hours long and you're bored. And I took the salt packets, like the little Splendid packets, and I built this tower, like probably 3 or 4 stories high, And in my eyes during casting, it was the more people that bring me up to Jeff Probst, the more he's going to put me on it. So I was doing push-ups by the pool. I was doing sit-ups by the pool, trying to be like a meathead.
So good or bad, as long as your name's coming up.
Exactly. And then that was my first initial. And then once I got on the island, then it was play the game and be like, yo, that was part of my strategy, whatever. So I built these towers, and Janet walks by and kind of just like blows, like it doesn't fall, but she was like, I'll beat you. And then she started building this tower. So every single day for those 7 days we were there, breakfast and dinner, we would build towers to see who can build the highest tower. And then we were in the pool, and I was swimming around the pool, just treading water. And Janet just goes there and back. And she just looks at me like, come get some. And so I was like, all right. So then I started racing her. So right away I came home and I told my family, I was like, there's this woman, don't know her name, but she's a lifeguard, clearly, because she had this lifeguard hat on. Looked it up, from New Jersey. I'm like, I'm a New York boy. She's New Jersey. I said, Tommy and his mommy is going to run this game.
Amazing. You already had the hashtag. This is perfect.
Tommy and his mommy started at finals of casting before I knew all these people. So that's a long story short for why day one I'm on her team. Right when the game started, I looked at her. I go, are we doing this? And she's like, absolutely. So we had this bond from super close day one. I didn't know Lauren until, we started the game. I never saw her. And to be honest, I went to an all white high school, everything like this. I never had a friend like Lauren before, but me and her instantly just bonded to. We would make fun of each other left and right. She explained, to me what a weave was, and she was making fun of how pale I was. And we just got to that where it was just, we instantly just clicked as brother, sister. And so.
You didn't know what a weave was?
No, I had no idea what a weave was. Lauren tried to explain it to me. She's not the best teacher, but
yeah, who is the best teacher?
Yeah, but also Lauren was that rock out there for me. You saw me almost crying at the well. So Lauren would be someone I would always be able to just sit down and be like, yo, I need to talk. I'm nervous. I'm this. And I feel like I was the same to Lauren also. So Lauren was a big, big key in just my mental stability in the game too.
Mm-hmm. Well, real quick, just going backwards to that casting story. I just imagine what if there are normal people at breakfast who are watching these two strangers not speaking to each other, but building a building of salt packets. That's amazing.
Yeah, and our casting was right around I guess it was Universal, so it was right by Disneyland, Universal. You can tell who was on Survivor, they would be sitting by themselves all alone, and then there'd be a family with Disney shirts and stuff like that. And then I actually talked to one. I had a Buzz Lightyear shirt I really liked, and I said like, "Oh, nice shirt." And they're like, "Don't talk to them." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Get like tased as soon as he talks.
I love how it's don't talk to the children or the families who are clearly on vacation, but go ahead and build the salt packet towers against the people that you're going to be inevitably playing with. Like, thank you, Tommy. You just got every single person there fired. Good job. Thanks.
Yeah.
They will not be back for season 41 and 42.
Yeah, but I think, but in casting too, what they say to you is like they do say play the room, and they say look around, and there was Vince, there was Ronnie, there was Jason there, Tom,
wow,
Molly was in mine. There were so many. There was a ton, but they do say like when you go into your casting interviews, they're like, so tell me, who are you bonding with? Who do you see yourself aligning with? Who do you see yourself voting off? So they do want you to kind of like, without talking, like read the room. So I don't think I'm getting anyone fired.
No, I'm just saying, don't talk to the Buzz Lightyear kid. No verbal communication, but whatever else you want to do.
That kid is never getting on Survivor.
Yeah, that kid's screwed.
Yeah,
way to go, Tommy. So, but you said okay, so Molly's there, Jason's there. Jason's immediately on the outside. Molly, you guys vote out first. Was there any? Were you trying to bond with them over similar things where it was like, hey, we were in the same casting, or did you just not even have that opportunity because Molly was too much of a threat and Jason was doing his own thing?
Right when we got on the island, we'd all do the introductions and everyone's kind of doing their thing. And right away, I bonded with Jack and Jamal. Jack and Jamal, I was like, I have them. We have that bro alliance kind of thing. Like, it's one of those things where me as a player, I was like, I'm close with Jack and Jamal without even speaking to them. I was like, Jack and I are just a similar age. Same with Jamal. They're in education. They play sports, basketball. I was like, I talked to them for 10 minutes and you're like, all right, we're boys. So I spend most of my time trying to connect with people that I normally don't connect with right away. So someone like Kelly and Molly and Lauren and people like that. But right when we started, there was Jason, Janet, and me. And us three said, let's run this game. We were in the same finals together. If anyone's in trouble, put your hands on your head we need to talk and go away. So then us three were standing there and they're like, we're going to go check where the water well is and the tree mail. So I was like, Survivor 101, don't leave the group. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, you two go do that. Tell me when you find it. I'll be back here, eyes over here. And once them two left, it was Janet and Jason are gone. Janet came back way sooner than Jason. So then it was like, all right, where's Jason? And even if he was only gone for 10, 20 minutes, on Survivor, that seems like 3 hours, especially being the first 20 minutes.
Right.
So anyone that plays Survivor 101, stay with the group. It's not worth an idol. Look, I won the game without an idol. So make those bonds that will last you to the end of the game.
And I just want to address something else too, because you said it. You started off and you're like, we're boys. I get this right away. I need to go to the people who I don't normally relate to. And then you named every woman your age. So
I never had any good luck with the women my age, but Janet and the grandmas, they love me. So that's
But it's really funny because that is kind of what we saw early on. It was like Tommy and Janet. Cool. We get that. That's an alliance right there. And we started to see you and Lauren a little bit, but not really until episode 2. We didn't really see it in the first episode, but you and Janet, it was like right away. And I just think it's funny that that's what you say. And even though you knew that, like, I think that's something that a lot of people who are going to play can take and use to their advantages, even though you might not necessarily get along with somebody in your everyday life, or that might not be the type of person you're always hanging out with. In the case of Tommy, he's got a fiance now, so he's not hanging out with other women his age ever. But it's like if you can find a way to bond with them, you're already going to have the natural bonding with other people that you're used to, being around all the time anyway. Yeah.
And like I said, a 5-minute talk with Jack solidified our bond, where it was 5 minutes. And you saw in his confessional, he said, Tommy's my number one. Mm-hmm. And that was 5 minutes of talking, where I could spend 2 hours with someone just to try to get them to not hate me, or not to, he's the big guy, the typical guy that's not going to line with me. So I wanted to kind of like break some walls. And then as the days go on, like you saw with Lauren and I, we kind of broke the wall day one. We talked about her getting married and me getting a fiance and proposing. That broke the wall. We still weren't best friends. And then day after day, we just started getting closer and closer and closer. And that was my strategy. Every night before I would go to bed, I would say two things. I would run down the cast or my tribe members, and I would say, did I talk strategy with them? And did I talk personal relationships with them? And I had to do both each and every day, one-on-one. So some days it was like, not strategy, where like, who do you want? I would just be like, so how you feeling? Like, who do you feel close with? That's strategy talk to me. And I would always try to bring something about their home, their life, what their intentions are after this game. So I would try to do both of those things each and every day. And that was one of my checklists at night.
And was there anybody that you just absolutely did not get along with at all while you were out there? Or like, what was the deal with that?
Yes, I am the guy that hangs out with the parents. So that was always me in high school too. All my friends were in the basement. And they'd be like, did Tommy come? And I'd be 2 hours with the parents upstairs. So I'm more of that's like hanging out with fourth graders, and I can hang out with older people. I guess I'm not so
no middle ground.
Yeah. Well, what was your question, Phil, before Nicole really interrupted?
Oh yeah, I had to put that up there because it was Nicole, and I mean, she's going to give you a hard time. What was my question? Was there anybody that you just absolutely did not get along with when you first got out there? Because you claim you get along with everybody.
I typically do get along with everybody.
You claim.
But and this is gonna maybe ruffle some feathers or whatever, and people are gonna freak out. But Kelly, to me, from day one, is somebody that I never wanted to work with. I never trusted. She just seems sly, and like you saw with the idol that she played for, Dean and stuff, she was just, I know, overthinking right from the start. So you don't want to ever play with somebody like her or someone like Tony. You want to play with people that are predictable. So her, to me, I just couldn't get a read on. It wasn't that I didn't like her. I just never felt that like I could tell you something and know it's locked in gold. Like, I know everything I was saying to her. She was like, you can just see the gears turning. I would just be like, yeah, I'm a fourth grade teacher. And in her head, she's like, well, I don't want to sit with a fourth grade teacher at the end. Like, you can just see her eyes, where other people like Lauren, she's like, oh my God, that's amazing. You're talking kids. And like, she's like, wow, this is great. This is warm. Where Kelly, I feel like even the smallest conversation, she was like listening, or she was pretending to sleep a lot. So it was just like, I had to get this girl out. But to me, pre-merge moves aren't that great. So I was like, there will be a time and a place. Right now, it's just get through, get to the merge, and then make that move and stuff like that.
Yeah. So before we even get to a swap or anything, you wanted to play with predictable. You get Nora on your tribe. Now, when you get Nora, are you looking at her as somebody predictable because she's so like unpredictable, but like maybe not in really a survivor way? Or were you really worried about somebody like Nora, who did almost blow up your game had it not been for your relationship with Dean?
And Lauren, I see in the group chat and Elaine and stuff, they laugh because Nora ends up taking me at the end. But I tried to get Nora out from day one. I wanted her out every single day because of that unpredictability. It was the last person to talk to Nora was her new favorite. So she was never like, look, Lauren and me were golden. Like, I don't care if you were going to say you were going to, buy me Disney World. Nope. I'm locked with Lauren. You know what I'm saying? So that's the people I needed. Where Nora, you could just be like, hey, Nora, how are you? And she'd be like, oh, we're in the new alliance. So I knew a tribe. You guys
might have actually been dating, you and Nora. Once you and Nora started talking, you might have been dating.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why she has so many ex-boyfriends. I don't know. That's half of it. I don't know. So to me, I knew a tribe swap was going to come up. So when everyone at first it was Jason or Nora, I'm like, guys, get Nora out, because the tribe swap comes. She's just going to be like, oh my God, new friends, I love you, and then be with them. So I really wanted Nora out. To be honest, I wasn't really part of the Molly vote at all. I was the last one to know. You saw when Janet told me, and I was like, wait, why Molly? Like, and that's what another thing I don't get about her season. It just kind of was like, Molly went kind of for no reason. Chelsea went for kind of no reason. So it ended up working for me, but normally these players that go far and do good things, people are just taking out early for, I guess people are playing scared or for the long game. I don't know. I guess, I don't know.
Do you think your cast was maybe playing not too aggressively? That's like the wrong word, but we kept saying every week that it felt like they were always trying to take out the difficult target, never the easy target. Do you think that was the case? Because, I mean, granted, you were only at one tribal in the first 5 tribals, but still.
Yeah.
It was like too meta. It seemed like, let's get rid of like the gigantic threats right now when there wasn't much of a reason to.
And that's why you keep seeing it, and I get made fun of all my confessionals. Like, I always want to lower my threat level and do stuff like that. But I couldn't believe it was Jason went to look for an idol for an hour on day one, and by day two, everyone's like, let's vote out Molly. I'm like, wait, Molly? Like, the one that's literally just hanging by camp helping us? So, or Nora, the typical first one out, or even Janet, someone that's usually older, is typically the first one out, or something like that. So, and then we get, we win the first immunity challenge. We go to the mats the next day, and we see Ronnie's gone. I'm like, they voted out, an athletic guy, and then I was thinking Krishna was probably going to go, or Vince, or something. And then the next time, I think people were just playing for the win way too early in my season.
Right.
And that's why players like Lauren, me, Janet, Dan, us four, we were locked. And they didn't edit Dan a lot because of all the circumstances, but that boy can play. And he was locked in with us four. And I think we kind of just coasted. And that's why we made it all the way down to the final 5 and 6, because we weren't trying to chop everyone's head off and go crazy, kind of like the game Missy and Aaron.
Yeah.
And when, and this is gonna sound underhanded, but it's really not. When do you think you started playing? Like, when not the social game, but when did you feel like, okay, I can no longer just sit here with the four of us and just go?
That's a tough question because, again, my game was social, right? And it was strategic. And Jason said this once in his AMA once. He's like, I was playing with a +2. I had Dan and Janet that would never vote me out in a million years. So right from the start, I was like, I'm good. Whenever I need to make a move, I have 2 people that will ride or die with me for forever. Then I pull in Lauren, and Lauren and me we're the dynamic duo. But then I would tell Dan and Janet, be like, look, that's perfect for us. Everyone thinks Lauren and I are the dynamic duo, but we really are. And she's our shield. So if they come after one of us, it's going to be Lauren. And then they're never going to expect me and you, Jana, as working together. But to answer your question, once merge hit, the Dan situation completely, the edit and everything that happened, overshadowed the move. But I was the one to drill that Kelly vote home. She had 2 idols. I didn't know that at the time, but I could have easily went back to Vokai. But no, I was like, you know what? Kelly always was somebody that I never trusted since day one of this game. She's very close to Lauren. So if I can knock out Kelly, Lauren's really close to me. And I just don't trust her at all. Bam, I made that move. And I feel like from that point forward, I had so many shields ahead of me. So the Kelly move, I'll go over this. It was a tough decision for me because I was looking at Vokai. I was like, I can go with them or make a splash. Am I making that splash too early? That's what I kept thinking. I'm like, am I making that Kelly splash too early? And then I'm going to be the target. Because Edge of Extinction was, if you made a move, you go home the next day.
Yeah.
Right.
I viewed it as, if I go with the Lyro folks, I have Aaron and Missy as physical shields for me. I have Elaine and Elizabeth as social, funny, lovable shields above me. If I go with Vokai, I'm probably the most athletic. So now I have no shield above me. And then I have also who's more likable and stuff like that. That sounds kind of cocky, but I was like, there's no clear shield on both sides. So I was like, let me go Lyro. Let me make this big move for my resume. And then let me have some shields just to coast to the end.
That's from Elaine hearing Alexa's siren.
That was the police officers in East Village coming after you.
Wow, you just forgot a capital letter in there, Elaine, but you're getting better at the letters.
So, I have a question, but you finished kind of the thought process of that.
What'd you
So
say?
you mentioned that Lauren and Kelly were super close. How did the conversation go with Lauren when you were kind of pushing to get rid of Kelly?
So I was not going to make that move without Lauren because Lauren was my ride or die, as you saw. So it was really tough. Whereas if Lauren was like, I'm 100% not making this move, I probably wasn't going to make that move because I needed Lauren. She's my good girl to the end. She's very trustworthy. But it was more of just pitching this look, Jack went home. How did he go home? Trying to pitch that because Jamal kind of was like something's off with Kelly. Jamal was kind of saying this. But then Kelly told me What did she tell me? Oh my God, I forgot. I forgot what she told me.
We're gonna sit in silence and make
you think about it.
Feel awkward.
Yeah, we're talking to Lauren in a couple days, so maybe she can tell us that.
This is how Swagman works. This is what awkward silence sounds like.
Yo, it's 10 o'clock, way past my bedtime.
Way past.
So what it was to Lauren was I was trying to just show that Kelly's gone. She moved on from us. Kelly's now with these people. She loves Karishma more. She's going to use her as her goat. She has no intention of bringing us to the end. And then Kelly told me something. And I went to Lauren and knew she didn't tell her. And I was like, wait, Lauren, if you're in there, what did she not tell you?
Yeah, Lauren, you have the floor.
She says, I'll fill in the gaps for Swagman. That's all she's saying. That's all she's giving you.
All right. But I went to Lauren. I was like, oh, so did Kelly told you about whatever? And she was like, no, she didn't. I was like, oh. And then I saw Missy talking to Kelly, and Missy was going to go home that night. I'm like, why is Kelly talking to Missy for 3 hours if we're voting her out tonight? She's jury managing so early in this game, so let's vote her out.
And did you know at that point anything about the Dean situation, that she had played an idol for Dean? Did you know any of that or no?
No, but Jamal was talking to me, and he was saying, like, something's up. He was like, I don't think Dean found that idol. Nora told me this, but he didn't really have all the pieces either. So Jamal and I were closer than people thought. So he was just like, something's off. I just can't put my hand on it. So I was like, wait, these guys are a complete mess. I don't know how my buddy Jack went home. And then Kelly pulls me aside. I'll never forget this. I'm so surprised they didn't air this. I'm sitting there. There was 100% cameras on us too. And so she was like, Tommy, I know we got off on the wrong foot. I know we don't, we didn't really see eye to eye, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I just don't really trust you. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, what can I do to build that trust back? She's like, how about let's start fresh now. Let's build that trust, and let's work from day to day to day. I was like, okay, thanks so much, Kelly. You're the best. Gave her a hug. And then that's when I booked it over to Lauren on the stand. I'm like, Kelly is going home. No way about it. She literally says she did not trust me to my face. And she's like, now let's work day to day. I'm like, that's no way.
Yeah, there are many days left.
No. Oh, also, Key, I just see Vince put in there. I wish I got to play with Tommy, so Vince is here.
What's up, Vince?
Vince is somebody that from finals of casting, I always had in my book. And even when I saw him in pregame, I was like, I want to play with Vince. So maybe that could have been something that we could have done.
Yeah.
Could have been.
But so I want to keep talking about this whole shield thing that you had going on here.
Yeah.
So where would you so you're 6'4", in case anybody didn't know. You're
6'4", just fell.
6'4", just.
Please.
Yeah. Athletic, because you beat a D1 basketball player in basketball. You do all this stuff. But how are you able to kind of keep the threat level low? Because for as much Missy kept saying the other day, like in our tell-all, like that you look like a lot of the winners. And while I agree in some aspects, 6'4" muscular men don't win Survivor. That just doesn't happen ever. They're always going home early merge. Joe Englam's one of the most liked survivors out there, and he always went home no matter what. Yeah. So how are you able to keep it low and have so many shields that were just seen as bigger threats or just as worse to keep around?
So going to that Missy point that people that look like me win the game. No one that looks like me wins this game. The only other redhead was Cochran, right? And we don't look alike. But no one that's 6'4" or big, Malcolm, Joe Englam, look at Aaron from our season. All these people are always the merge boot. So I knew I'm playing the long game. I'm not playing the short game. So from day one, I was like, I tried to be like the goofy, the dumb, the surfer bro. I barely can surf, but I talked about surfing like every day on that island. I was trying to be like that dumb, like, you can't, fourth grade teacher. Like, I'm just here for the experience.
Yeah, where was your Long Island accent?
Yeah, Long Island accent. I live on the
Where was that?
But I would always say, this is going to be a great memory. This is going to be a great memory. Just to play up this, like, I'm here for the experience. And then from day one, look who threw our grappling hook. Janet, right? Look who did the puzzle. Jamal. Look who pulled everyone up the rope on our first ever challenge. Jack. Where am I? Not really.
We don't know, man. We don't know.
Even the next one, every single challenge and group challenges, I was like, I am never being the hero role because I don't want to show what I can do until I need to. The one where I hit the shot against Dean, if you look back at that challenge, I'm on the sit out mat. You know how you're allowed 2 shooters? Missy was our starting shooter. I was on the sit out mat where it's like your second shooter that you never use. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, I'm doing a good job. I don't have to swim. I don't have to climb up that ladder. I don't have to go retrieve the balls. I don't have to go bounce the balance beam. And I probably don't even have to shoot. I'm not even treading the water and throwing the balls back. I can literally win this challenge without it. But Missy just couldn't reach that last one. It's way further. So I was like, I kind of need to step up and hit this. And that's when I did. So that was me lowering my threat levels and never doing that. And also, Aaron still rips at me this, says he doesn't believe it. But Dean, you should have asked him yesterday. Dean and I had the same strategy at Merge. I was like, bro, let's throw these challenges. Why are we winning this? We're in a good spot. If you win a challenge, you go home the next day. And you saw me kind of pitch that at Final Tribal speech where it's the necklace saves you for one day. And that next second you're on the island, you have now the biggest target on you, especially when you look when you're 6'4" and, you're pretty athletic. So I threw every single challenge until the one that Lauren won, where you have to put that ball up in the one.
Yeah, that one looked awful.
So when 9 people left, so I stunk at that one. So 9 people on, I lost all the immunities. So, but up until 13 to 9 people, I threw the physical challenges.
Convenient that Missy and Aaron go away, and then you say, "Oh, I'm gonna start playing now." After the 2 best challenge performers are gone. That's convenient, Tommy.
But fun fact, and I know Dean talked about it, I won 4 reward challenges. So
which we didn't see.
Which you didn't see.
I know
any of them. So those were, and I pitched it at my Final Tribal too. That was my ideas. 1, I was freaking starving. But 2, it was, I got to bring different people to the rewards at different times. And people don't realize when you bring someone on a reward, how much that's like, oh my gosh, I owe you. You just gave me food. You gave me my family, and stuff like that. So that was my strategy. So I was pretty good at the reward challenges, and we can get into some of those because those are fun when we get to that point. But but that's what I did.
Well, with the family visit especially, that's when the people are always so afraid to win, because when you're in that position of picking loved ones, that like people are so much more burned when they don't get it. So I guess maybe because you were with Janet, because you were with someone, maybe the heat's not so much just on you.
Yeah. To be honest, before I went out there, I told Nicole, I know she's coming out. I was like, if I'm at the loved ones, I'm 100% losing the challenge because she's the super fan. She figured this out. She's only 2 winners in history have won the loved ones and won the show. So she's like,
who are they?
It doesn't work. What'd you say?
Who are they?
I have no idea. Nicole, if you're in there, you can hit us up.
Oh my God.
I thought
you were really going to start rattling off.
That's a crazy fact.
Oh, I don't know these facts. Nicole knows these facts. I don't know.
We need Nicole and Lauren in here. Tommy,
that's what I'm saying. I need help. See, this is my game too.
Where is Nicole?
It's true. What's it called? But so I said I'm gonna throw the challenge. Once she ran out, I hugged her. I cried, and I was like, I'm gonna try and win this challenge. It's worth more than $1 million. And everyone also says it's like really 30 days. You can't go 1 month without talking to your loved one. But it's like 15 days before that, you're like flying out. You're under the most stress you've ever been in your life. You haven't slept. You haven't eaten. You just want to hug someone you love.
And I have such a problem with that because as somebody who's like, I live on the opposite side of the country from my family. I normally see them once a year. Yeah. And everybody like, I don't like start sobbing when I see my family in December. It's like, okay, hey, how's it going? But you're talking on the phone to them all the time. You're texting them. You know they're alive. You know that like they're doing things and you're doing things. You know everybody's living. 30 days, you literally don't have communication. And the nightmare is to wake up one day and get the Terry Dietz thing where it's like, hey, you should leave the game because of what happened with your son. And I don't think people can understand that because, most people aren't going to cry if they don't see their family for 30 days. Yeah. You're going to be emotional, though, when you're being lied to over and over and over and over again. You're starving. And not only have you not talked to these people, you literally, it's like it could have been like a fire. Like, who knows? You don't know anything. So, I agree with you.
And that's what the thing is, too, is like, and at night, I would just like lay in the hammock and I would just picture like, Nicole eating dinner by herself in like the apartment. You just get sad. Like they give up so much for you to be out there also. So my mom, like when I saw her at the airport when she picked me up, she was bawling, crying. So I was like, I'm okay. I just want to make sure like my family, they have the harder time because I know I'm okay. Yeah, I'm starving, but like I'm fine. where they're like, is Tommy, how much weight did he lose? And I know when Nicole got back from her loved ones, my mom was like, we're getting dinner right now. Tell me everything. They also had a super cool.
All right, Nicole. Yeah, we just totally like hid your face. Bob Crowley, Mike Holloway, Nick Wilson, and Tommy Sheehan are the only winners to have won the Loved Ones Challenge. Bob and Mike did it individually. Nick and Tommy competed in pairs.
Thank you, Nicole.
Good company there.
Yeah. So all winners that weren't asked back, except Nicole, right?
We made it.
Maybe that's the boring winner list. But the one thing cool about the Loved Ones is Nicole got to come out second, which is it's really nice for you to come out first. So clearly we weren't the most exciting one because they always leave that for last.
Yeah.
But I loved being one of the first ones because the entire time couples were talking, I was like talking to Nicole. I was like wording. I'm like blah blah blah, like because I didn't know if I was going to win the challenge, get to see her. And I just remember her lipping to me like, "How's it going?" And I just looked back. I'm going to win the $1 million. And she just started crying. And so like at Loved Ones, it was cool to lip that and then, come home and actually pull it off.
And she comes home and tells your mom like he's in trouble. He already went to Ponderosa by now.
Yeah, probably. I almost went home. Thank God for Dean that time. But yeah, that was a crazy tribal. But when she did get home, she was like, I think Tommy only lost like 5 pounds. I lost 29 pounds. So
wow.
I had, if anyone looks too, they didn't really like highlight it. My boxers, I lost so much weight that they needed to give me a girl's hair tie to tie on the side.
Oh my God.
Fall off.
I did not notice that.
So you look at clips now of me like at a challenge or anywhere, even around camp, I had to use hair tie. It also was sewn. So Charisma sewed my boxers and I needed a hair tie. That's how much weight I lost. So if anyone said the show's
wow.
And if this was back in like 2004, we would have seen that. We would have known all of that. Like that's kind of the funny part is how much it's evolved. Nobody would recognize that unless they bought your underwear, much like Dean sold.
Yeah, those are not. Yeah,
if anyone wants that, your underwear yet?
What'd you say?
Has anyone bought your underwear yet?
No shot. I will never sell my underwear. I don't want to know what people do with that. I don't want. Those are something. Also, did you see Nora on her Instagram? She has a mannequin with her. I'm not doing that either.
The mannequin is incredible.
Yeah.
No, I love, and I know they don't show the survival stuff anymore, but I love hearing about the weight loss. Like that part has always been super crazy.
It's cool too. And then the people that say I don't work, like I caught a lot of spear fishing and stuff like that too. That was fun. Like, so if like fans that get out there, like you don't know how many days you have out there. The game is a lot of luck, but that's why I always said these great memories. I was like, cool, day 2. Let me just try spear fishing. When's the next time I'm going to try that? Let me bring out the raft. Let me, it was just so cool as like a Survivor super fan, to like drink out of like the mug they give you and it was so cool to do all those cool experiences and everything like that.
So you don't go spearfishing in the beautiful clear waters of Long Island every summer?
Oh yeah. I come out like an alien. You don't want to eat it.
A green flounder. It's like, what is this? But so you said it involves a lot of luck. So let's rewind. Let's go all the way back to when Tommy Sheehan almost went home, or could have went home. Maybe not almost, but let's go back to Elaine gets this advantage. So the night Jason goes home, this is literally out of your hands. Take us through this night.
So I do say the game is a lot of luck, but it's what you do with that luck, and it's how to make those odds of luck as small as possible. So what happened was when we tribe swapped, everyone was pumped, and it was like, yo, look at our tribe. We're never going to lose. And they didn't air 3 reward challenges, but we went 5 for 6, right? So we won 5 challenges. We lost 1. But we only went 2 for 3 in immunity, so one of us had to go. And when you're at a tribe swap at 4-4, you don't want to be there. I'd rather lose challenges and be in the majority than be in a 4-4 split, even as athletic as we can. So I knew right away I was super close with all of them. None of them are going to flip on me. So I was like, let me spend all my time connecting with the people on the other side. So I was like, Aaron's the best one to connect to because Merge is around the corner. Let's connect with him. Let's build that bond about his kid, about being physical shields for each other. And I think that's why, was Elaine going to Island of Idols complete luck? That's what stinks about Jason's game was, 1, we had to have a reward challenge. Immunity challenge. No, what happened? Sorry. That's what happened. The reward challenge, we sat out Elaine for the thing. So one had to be a reward challenge. We had to sit out Elaine. She had to go to Island of Idols. Her advantage had to be a block the vote. If it was an idol, Aaron would have went home. If it was anything else, she would have been, one of them would have went home. It had to be a block the vote. But since I did that work to bond with Aaron, he saved me, and they voted out Jason instead. So yeah, it was luck that I didn't go home, but it was also the work I did to prevent anything in case something bad happened that I didn't go home.
And then the next time when you actually do have to win the challenge, would you have gone home that night, do you think, if you had lost?
So that's been fun, and I've actually tried to talk about it a lot. Aaron swears up and down that Dan would have went home. He's like, I wouldn't have let that happen. But Missy was like, no, Tommy would have went home, 100%. So that's why you see that such raw emotion, those Reddit memes of me like, let's go, let's go. Let's I was going nuts because that was the first time my game, I'm like, the game's out of my hands. It's whoever they want goes home. You know, there's not really swindling there. There's one vote till merge. So it's like completely out of my hands. So I heard Missy and Missy really wanted to throw the challenge. Aaron told me about it. He's like, it's not happening, dude. We're not throwing the challenge. We want to stick together. You pull over Janet and Kelly, and we'll be fine. I said, sure. Whatever you need me to do so I don't go home. So at the challenge, I usually just let people, I'm like, everyone's like, you do this, you do that. I'm like, okay. But this one, I was like, no. I was like, I'm throwing basketballs with Elizabeth and Missy. Because Missy, you're a basketball player. Elizabeth's athletic, and I'm going to throw basketballs. Because I said the only two that were going to throw it were Elizabeth and Missy. And everyone knows about Survivor is it comes down to the puzzle. So who did I want on the puzzle? The 5 people that weren't going to throw it.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, even if they are throwing it, I'm not going to miss many, and we'll be a little bit behind, but at least it comes down to the puzzle, and the people doing the puzzle are the ones not throwing it. Because if you're throwing it and you're on the puzzle, you can lose it completely. You can just take a piece, throw it on the side. So it was us 3 throwing and the rest of them that did the puzzle that weren't going to throw it.
Yeah.
Fun fact too is, which is cool about Survivor production, I was super nervous. I was like, if we lose this, I'm probably going home. Well, that's the smart thing to do, I would think. So I walk in, we get to the match, and I just look at the 2 baskets. This is the coconut challenge where you have to throw it in the basket. And I'm like, Jeff, ours is taller. I'm just like throwing out shit, you know, just trying to I was so zoned in. He was like, okay, we'll measure it. And they measured it, and ours was 1 millimeter taller. They redid they took it down. They were like, you're right. It was 1 millimeter taller. And they're like, we are so sorry. And they knocked it down. They like had the guys, like 10, 15 of them, like do it, blah, 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 and like bring it down. So I thought that was really, really cool where like 1 millimeter, I would have been like, guys, it's 1 freaking millimeter. Like, who cares? But they're like, whoa, we're so sorry. It's 1 millimeter, literally 1 millimeter. I never forget. And they got like 10 guys and they like
How long did that take?
Not so long because they had to just like loosen the but then it was like 1 millimeter lower, higher. They had to like do it, and then they had to measure theirs and then ours. And then I'm the first one to throw it. I throw it, it goes in, and the whole thing like collapses.
Oh my God.
So then they had to like pause and then like redo it all again. So I was like, Jeff, am I the first ever to break a challenge? And he was like, no, it happens like all the time.
Davey broke it.
Yeah, Davey destroyed a basketball.
It, right?
Yeah, he broke it. But so not only did you get half the people who work in casting fired tonight, you also made all these poor like PAs have to like do this crazy, ridiculous, obnoxious thing. Tommy, I have a feeling I know why you didn't get asked back for 40. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just saying.
I don't think I'm getting asked back anytime soon, but I would love to go back, even though. But the production did love me. I was very nice to them. So hopefully that helps. But
playing the social game all around.
Social game, yeah, you got to play it because I would even try to read the producers. You know, when they were asking questions to me, I would be like, "Wait a second, you never asked that type of question before." And I would try to like every question the producers asked me, I would be like, "Why are they asking me that? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that?" And when it came down to, I know we're shooting ahead, 8 people left after the loved ones. They asked me a question. I go, "My walk's over. I'm going back." I just instantly knew something was up by the way they were like talking and asking me questions. I was like, you've never asked me questions like this before. The walk's over, and I left and went back. And that's when I went up to Dean. I was like, yo, what's going on?
And it's so
wow.
It's so crazy.
Do you know what the question was?
No, it was like typical, like something like, do you feel nervous winning the loved ones? Like that didn't throw me off, but like they were like really like, I guess like, I don't know. It's just something was off. They weren't tipping me off and the Reddit's going to go nuts and stuff like that because I know they didn't want me to win. But I don't know. I'm good at reading people and I could just sense maybe it was my own anxiety and I'm just saying production was like asking me weird questions, but I don't know. Something just is off and I just like, all right, I have to get back. I don't care about this walk anymore. Or this confessional. They call it walks. I'm out.
Right.
Yeah. And like with season 40, right, coming up next, it's funny to me that like on season 39, you're thinking about that type of thing being like, I need to get the hell out of here. And then you have Ethan who's about to play and like he probably wasn't thinking about anything like that back in season 3 because it was probably like, what do you think about the fact that you get eaten by a lion if like you walk outside at the wrong time? Like that was probably a sincere question. And now it's
like
now it's like, what can we craft here? So no, I think that's playing the game though. And people always say, and I haven't been out there, but people always say like, well, if they ask leading questions and stuff, is production interfering too much? It's like they're probably asking leading questions to everybody. It's just who's going to notice what it means and who to.
Yeah, and also you could play it wrong. I know people like I've talked to Dan especially and other people that were like, I read production wrong. Like they were asking me, they try to trip you up and ask you like, so Lauren, she's going to try to get you out eventually. I'm like, no, she's not. But that might make me like, oh, I have to go home and vote out Lauren. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So some people might read it wrong. I just was able to like, I was paying attention from my first ever confessional all the way there. So I can kind of pick up on their tones.
And so you mentioned Final 8. I mean, we can just keep bouncing around all.
Sorry, I'm all over the place.
I mean, might as well. It's more fun that way, you know. But so Final 8, you could have went home. You didn't really. It didn't seem like you saw this coming until Dean turns and pokes you on the shoulder and is like, "Hey, buddy, they're voting for you." Let's hear about Final 8 night since you didn't give me excitement at Final 15 or Final 14, whatever it was when Jason went home.
Okay, yeah. So this was really cool. So we went to the Loved Ones Reward, and let's go back to picking. So I won with Janet, and I was like, damn, like this is the worst. That's instantly when I was like, got back to game mode, and I was like, shit. I was like, sorry, Nicole. I'm like, yo, I'd rather just not win. Like keep Nicole over there. Like this is gonna really screw up my game because I knew one, you had to bring Dan. Everyone's bringing Dan in that situation. He has his kid there. You know what I mean? So everyone could bash him. He has a kid out there. His kid's a wonderful kid, lovable kid. You bring the guy with the kid. Like Gavin, he was going to get voted. You know, he was going to get brought. He postponed his wedding. Like there's some people that are just always going to get taken. So then Janet goes, I'll pick Dan. So I'm like, shit. Now I'm between Lauren or Nora. And Lauren and Nora are very emotional. Both super emotional. So I was like, if I take Nora, Lauren will never work with me again. If I take Lauren, Nora's going to freak out. So I was like, I have to take Lauren because I've worked with her throughout this game. I completely trust her. And to be honest, I just wanted that moment with her too. So I brought her. But before even Loved Ones, we knew it was going to be the Loved Ones challenge. Dean and I spoke and we're like, dude, if I win, don't take me. That's what I said to him. Leave me on the island. I said, if I win, I'm not taking you. And he said, done deal. And that's something that the edit didn't show. Dean and I, since merge, we're talking strategy. We were talking end game. We were talking Final 3 at merge. And they just made it seem like we barely worked together. I think they wanted to pit us against each other more at the end. That's how it was. Sorry. But getting back to the Loved Ones challenge. We're talking, let's vote out somebody. Let's vote out Karishma, blah, 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 blah. It's like, whatever. I come back to the island. So I'm like, oh, Elaine, obviously you guys talk strategy. What happened? And she was like, no, they just want to vote out Dan. I'm like, vote out Dan? Why who wants to vote out Dan now? And then I was like, Nora, come on, let's go get water. I'm so sorry. I didn't pick you. I love you. You know, I didn't pick you so you can be eyes over here, like pulling all the typical things. And she's like, no, it's fine. We all just want to vote out. They wanted to vote out Dan, but I'm not going to do it. Like, they're not going to want to vote out Dan. They're going to want to vote out one of Lauren or me. You know what I mean? At this point. And then I asked Elaine, yeah, it was just Dan. Like, and then just dismiss it. And you're like, all right, something's up. So then I'm like, Dean, bro, like, what's going on? And he was like, like they were just, Nora flipped out. She was so mad at you. She flipped out on you and Lauren. But she was like, yeah, they were pitching names all over the place. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, shit. Mm-hmm. And that's when I had that confession. I'm like, wait a second. Those 4 can vote together. And if we split the vote, I go home or Lauren goes home. And what comes to mind now is I talked to Dean. They were going to vote out Lauren because Dean wanted me still there. And if they voted out Lauren, I would have been running to Dean because I'm on the outs. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So once Lauren won immunity, that's when he switched his mind where he's like, I can't go through with this. So I sat down with Dean. I'm like, dude, we're splitting the votes because everyone was lying to Dean that we weren't splitting the votes. Mm-hmm. So Dan and Lauren were lying to him. So I was like, Dean, they're lying to you. We're splitting the votes. I just want to let you know. But I also want to let you know something. And he was like, what? I was like, Nicole, my fiance, and his mom were on the loved ones trip together. So they get like a 3-day vacation and then the challenge. So I'm like, so for those 3 days, you and Nicole and your mom were like best friends. They stayed together. They had dinner every night together. And she asked me how you're doing in the game to relay information. Mm-hmm. So I said, I have a final 3 with Dean. And he goes, dude, that means a lot to me. Like, because Dean's very spiritual, like very into that. He's like, that kind of shows me. He goes, they're going to vote you out. And then production goes, lockdown. And lockdown means you can't talk anymore. Yep. You have to just like get your stuff. You walk the sand and then you get on a boat and you go to tribal. But they can't film you on the boat, in case you're talking strategy or anything like that. So you're on lockdown, so you can't talk. So now I'm like, what do you mean lockdown? He was just telling me the plan. So he started to tell me on the island. So going into tribal, we were trying to like slyly do it. And they edited it nicely. But we were talking a long, long time before Nora kind of picked up on it. And then that whole thing blew up. So that was
good thing you guys are sitting next to each other.
Yes. But what was nice is that you hear Elaine saying like, oh, if they were sitting in the front row or whatnot. Dean, before we went to tribal, said they were voting me out. So no matter what, I have nothing to lose to stand up and go talk to Dean. If I'm sitting in the front row, I don't care who sees me. I know they're voting me out. My alliance, I didn't have time to tell them that they're voting me out, that we can't split the votes. So I literally need to do that or I go home. So if I'm sitting front row, if I'm sitting back row, if I'm sitting opposite Dean, I'm standing up and blowing this up. So,
right.
But it ended up being the best thing that could happen for me. Because now in the jury's eyes, right, I was going to go home, 100%. Nora made that clear. Instead of me going home, I got 0 votes. Elaine played her idol mistakenly, and we knocked off Karishma, who was never my number, who's never going to work with me. Yeah. So that like blew my mind where I'm like, the jury just saw 1, that my social game's good, that Dean told me. 2, I was supposed to go home. I got 0 votes. I got someone to play an idol, and Karishma went home. And then I also saw on Reddit, they're like, Nora was coming after Tommy. He betrayed Tommy. Why would he vote out Karishma? So that's what Dan came up to me. He's like, let's vote out Nora. I was like, no, guys, keep personal things out of it. Nora's an emotional player. I can play that card now for the rest. And look what happened. She took me at the end. Karishma's a logical lawyer, smart, like she's never going to take me to the end. She's never going to work with me past this day because I can win this game. So I was like, let's vote out Karishma, who's a GOAT that everyone's going to want to take over me. Let's keep Nora, who's now going to feel so bad because that's who she is. She's a big-hearted player, and that's how she played with her heart. You keep that person. You get rid of the logical person at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people were more thinking Karishma was going to get no votes at the end. So why are you going to get rid of somebody who's going to get no votes rather than taking out a bigger threat who maybe you weren't going to work with, which Elaine plays her idol. So good move not voting for Elaine. But why, like, I get why you went with Karishma over Nora, but why not get rid of somebody who maybe could win the game?
Yeah. So that was a big thing of mine too. Everyone's like, what big move did Tommy make? What big move did Tommy make?
Right.
Tommy made the Kelly move. Mm-hmm. And then everything after that fell into place. Aaron and Missy, typical merge booths. I put them there. Boom. I didn't vote. We all voted them out, Then it was, at that point, do I keep Karishma and Nora in the game? and hope that them two end with me at the final 3, the chances of that happening are so slim.
Yeah.
Why knock off a big threat? You keep the big threats. And I said that at my final tribal. If Janet went at 9, Elaine goes at 8, there's Tommy going at 7. The longer I kept Elaine and Janet in the game, Elaine and Janet were beating anybody. They were both winning. That would have been a really good final 3. They both were winning the game. So in my eyes, the longer I keep them in this game, I will never be coming out of someone's mouth.
Yeah.
So that's why Dean, me, Dan decided, we talked about this yesterday, let's do this. It was going to be Janet at 6, Nora at 5, Lauren and Fire, the 3 guys at final 3. And then Dan got kicked out, which made then Janet at 5, Lauren at 4. And that's really scary because it doesn't give us leeway. If Janet wins that challenge, then she's in Fire. Right. And then rethinks everything I do. I would probably say, put me against her in Fire. Because I knew I was better at Fire than Lauren and Dean and Nora. So I was like, I'm going to lose to Janet. Might as well go against her. But, that's why that was our plan, though.
And you get to a point where Janet finds that idol at the very, very end, and she shows it to you. Is that running through your head? You're like, oh crap, she's got a free ride to the final 4, pretty much.
Well, when she showed it to me, Dan was still in the game. The way they edited it made it seem like it wasn't. So she showed it to me at 6. So we were just like, well, good thing we put that into place where she can play that at 6. We vote her off at 5. But my job was, I told everybody she had the idol. I was like, my job, guys, is to make her feel comfortable, to not play the idol. Everyone else go look for the idol like crazy, to make it seem like I didn't tell you. So I don't think Janet would have played it at 6, and I think we would have voted her out at 6, and our plan would have went through the way it was supposed to.
Wow.
So Dan,
sorry, go.
I was just gonna say, so Dan getting booted. Are you suddenly like? I know you've been playing it really cool this whole podcast. You're like, no, I was always in control. Dan getting pulled from the game, and now you're looking at a final 5 where Janet has an idol. You still have Lauren that you got to get rid of, and you think you can beat Dean and Nora, which you end up doing. Are now you scared because it's like, oh crap, we're running out of time?
Damn, yeah, I was scared because that took out that was our buffer. Once you took out that buffer, then I'm like, damn, I can't sit next to Janet at the final 3. But at that time that Dan got pulled, we had the idol nullifier. So I knew Janet was going home. So that was fine. She just couldn't win immunity. So when we got to that immunity challenge, I was like, all right, I don't think Janet can win this one. We'll be all right. So yeah, it was really scary because we're like, damn, if she wins immunity, she's in the final 4. And that wasn't our plan. So Dan getting kicked off, like, put a ruffle in your plan, but that's Survivor. Just like an advantage pops up or anything like that. Luck, again, that's my thing. It's like, that was unlucky for me, but I made the deal with it. Another thing that was unlucky for me was Elaine getting the block to vote. I made the best of it. The most unlucky thing that ever happened to me was, I know we're popping all over it, was that tribe split at the merge. It was 5 people. Yeah. 4 Lyro girls that were in an alliance and me, a Vokai guy.
Yeah.
So how is that not... Even if I didn't necessarily make that move to the jury, I just pitched it that way. I go, guys, there's 4 Lyro girls and me, and I'm a threat to win. They all called me a threat to win. That's a good move. And then after that point, everyone's like, where's his big move? We controlled the game. Literally every vote, Dean and I talked about it with everybody. That was exactly the way we wanted it to happen, and it happened the exact same way.
And I'll keep bringing up 40, but I think a lot of winners that are really well respected, they don't really have these huge, gigantic, crazy Parvati Shallow handing out 2 idols, getting Eric Reichenbach to give up his necklace type moves.
Those don't usually happen.
Normally, the people who make those moves happen, like Parvati and like Sari and Fans or Favorites, lose. Yes. And Kim Spradlin, I'm sure I haven't watched One World a second time because I'm not that much of a masochist, but she is considered, one of the best winners of all time, if not the best one. She didn't really have a big move. She just played a consistently dominant game. And I think we're in just this day and age of we want drama, we want sparks flying, we want craziness, we want a Tony win every single time. And it doesn't need to happen that way. Sometimes you can just casually be like, hey, we should vote out Missy here instead of me because Missy Karishma is just never going to work with you and is just using you.
Yeah, and that's the way I pitched it to Karishma. I go, Karishma, has she ever wanted to work with you until this day? No. I just met you 3 days ago. We have this lifetime to work together and play together, and no one will see us working together. So that was my angle to her. I'm like, she's using you. I'm never using you. And then I ended up voting her off next. But like, that was my pitch to her was, hey, look, like, why would you go with this person that literally hates you, is mean to you, and is just demanding you what to do? I was like, Karishma, what do you want to do? And you have to pitch to people. You have to cater to what their needs are. And I feel like that's one thing people in my season lacked. That's one thing Lauren was really good at. She would cater to what people wanted to hear, and she would be so relatable to other people that, they opened up to a lot to her.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and just going back to 6, because I just want to ask this and give as much detail as you want. But were you surprised that Dan actually got pulled there? Because we only see you guys like the next morning. You're all sitting there, you're like, "Where's Dan?" And then we don't really get much out of it after that because it's so quick. But were you surprised that Dan was actually gone from the game, or were you already starting to be like, he's not coming back?
Yeah. So what happened was we got back. Forgot from where it was a challenge, right? So it might have been a reward. Because I don't think anyone had a necklace. So there was only 6 of us. You know where all 6 people are at all times. Not when there's 13. Everyone's all over the place.
Right.
When there's 6 people, and that far in the game, you're tired. Everyone just sits and does nothing all day long. And then they pull you what they call confessionals, or they call walks. So they go, Tommy, let's go for a walk. So I go for the walk. They usually last an hour. I come back. Lauren goes for her hour, comes back. Everyone goes. The last person to go was Dan. They go, Dan, come for your walk. That's how they did it. Dan goes for his walk. He's just in his boxers, like most of us do our confessionals. That's what you hang out in. An hour goes by, 2 hours go by, 3 hours go by, and we're like kidding around. Like, damn, Dan's trying to vote us all out tomorrow. Like, he must have a crazy plan. Does he have an idol? Like, you're just like, whoa, he has a lot to talk about. And then like in walked Jeff, and you like every time you see Jeff on TV, you're like, oh, something bad happened, right? For some reason. We just like forgot Dan wasn't there, and Dean throws a pillow at Jeff, and it nails him like right in his chest, and he was like, ugh. And he was like, yo, Jeff, you want some coffee, bro? And
oh God.
Because we were making coffee in our thing, and Jeff's like, no, I need to talk to you. And we're like, oh shit. Like, I'm not here for like a twist. Because we always kept thinking like, we're gonna live in Island of the Idols. Like, so we're like, oh, maybe we're going. We like forgot Dan wasn't there. And then he's like, guys, I have some sad news. Dan can't return to the game. And all of us were there, and we're just like, is his family okay? Is he okay? And he's like, I can't answer questions. He's like,
wow,
he's not returning. So we're just like, oh shit. And then we were just like sitting around and talking, and they just like didn't want us to talk about it anymore. And they were just like, guys, you have a 1 in 5 shot at $1 million now. Like, move on. And then they played my freaking confessional at the end. Was like, all right, well, I got to reshuffle my hand and go.
Yeah, you got stuck with that confessional.
Are you kidding me? I probably talked about like Dan for an hour in my confessional, my walk, and then at the end I was like, but look, there's 5 people left. I got to reshuffle my deck, and they pick that part and they play it. I'm like, oh, thanks guys. That makes me really look good.
Well, it's not an edited show. You really are a monster. That's what everybody needs to know. I mean, now it's. Go ahead, Alexa.
No, I'm just saying that's a crazy transition, and also that you guys like thought you were gonna live in Island of the Idols. That's some good foresight.
Yeah, because we were just like, there has to be an end. We all knew Rob and Sandra were on the island. I think when Elaine got to block the vote, she told Lauren, and then Lauren told me. So even before merge, I knew it was Rob and Sandra. I think I know Lauren told me, but it wasn't when she went. It was when Elaine went. So. We all knew they were there. We're like, so how does this end? Are they going to be on the jury? And everyone's like, no, it says no vote on the parchment. So we're like, all right, they're not voting. So like, how are they ending this? And we're like, we're probably all like, we all talked about it. We're like, we're probably going to end up on the island, and they're going to prep us for the final 3 speech or something like that and leave. But that's what we were thinking.
And how proud are you that you win Island of the Idols, a season where Survivor producers really wanted to harp on the fact that you need advice to win Survivor without ever having to go there and get advice from Rob and Sandra?
Yeah, and I think this has to go. I'm gonna put up into this. Every player you talk to, they're like, Tommy's not boring or whatever. I watched these confessions. I'm like, damn, they really screwed me. I was like, and at one point I was like, I thought I was going to be a villain. Like I had good confessions, whatever. But Jeff loves big, big moves. He loves idols. He loves advantages. Did I do any of that? No.
Nope.
And he loves Boston Rob. Did I need Boston Rob? No. So I'm like, damn, Jeff is so pissed right now, probably. And I even talked about that, like in my head at like final three. I'm like, yo, and I used in my final three speech where the way Dean got his, this is going to turn it all together. The way Dean got his idol nullifier, and that was his big move, right? The way I reflected that and deflected that was, I go, guys, let me tell you how he got his idol nullifier. The boat shows up, and this is me at final three. I go, the boat shows up. It says, pull a random name out of a bag. We pull a name out, it's Dean's. So I go, jury, I'm sorry my name didn't get pulled out of a bag.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Then he gets on a boat and goes there. And then he flips a coin, and it lands on yes. I go, so I am sorry my name didn't get pulled out of a bag. I'm sorry my name didn't get heads on it. I so is that $1 million winner? Somebody that's name got pulled out of a bag and mine didn't, and someone that flipped a coin. So that's kind of how I used it, like his like deflected, like his bling bling bling, which was good.
And that's really good. That's a
that was
really
how
good argument.
Kind of like really downplay, be like, guys, he flipped a freaking coin. You know what I'm saying?
Because especially in a season like this one, it's not like getting the advantages was all that difficult to accomplish. There was so much luck in going over to Island of the Idols. And then once you were there, it was, okay, can I get this advantage? Yeah. On a normal season, yeah, you might sit there and be like, well, that guy found 4 Ben Driebergen. I don't ever know how to say his last name. But he finds all these idols at the end of the game. It's like, all right, he worked for them. He got the idols. He made it, whatever. But this was kind of like you're being handed idols. So it's not, you can't be like, it's not that I didn't look. I just didn't go to Island of the Idols till day 36 when Elizabeth was there on day 2.
Yep. So. And that's how I pitched it. I pitched it to jury. I'm like, guys, I'm sorry my name didn't get pulled out of the bag. And that's how I pitched that to the end. I go, I'm sorry I played all 4 quarters. And I said, who do you want to give the $1 million to? Someone that played all 4 quarters or played 1 quarter? Or somebody that flipped a coin or someone that controlled the game? Yeah. And that's how like I pitched it, like, and they edited and spliced it and stuff like that. But there is a difference between like winning idols 5 in a row and playing them and not going home when you needed them, and then winning the $1 million. Like, that's amazing. Like, good job. Like, I'm proud of you. Like, I would vote for someone like that. But you know, Island of the Idols was such a weird twist, and like I don't think the jury really knew how to act with it.
And what's funny about the whole thing is that Dean's lesson was jury management, and you learned what to do with jury management from his lesson. He didn't really do anything, but you did. It's so funny how that works. So,
but what was cool too is like, my whole idol like find, and I know Dean talked about it, so I won't go too crazy in it. But which was crazy, that scavenger hunt. How much fun! Like Dean and I were watching that together. I was having a ball watching that. Why can't every single, like Survivor China, right? There was like clues, and then it was like the parchment up there, and they had to like do something like that every single idol. Like, have the buff have something immediately. Don't have just like a hidden idol. Have it like a scavenger hunt for every single one, because 1, it's fun to watch people find it, and 2, it will take them much longer to find them. There will be less idols, but if you really want one, you can spend all night looking for clues and you can get one. So I think that's the best way to do it.
And that was how it always was until Russell came in and kind of ruined that, because he was finding them without the advantage. So like, oh, we can do that. But it should become more difficult. I personally believe that it should become to like, you're not good at Survivor because you can find an idol without a clue. Like, oh, I found a piece. Like, that's not fun for me to watch, because like Lauren O'Connell is one of my favorite finds ever, because she thought it was a sock. Yeah. She thought it was a sock, and she just reaches in and it's an idol. But what's more impressive, that or go back to Fans vs. Favorites when Sari and Kathy Schleckman are walking back and forth, and it's Ozzy who ends up finding the thing all those days later. But I want to see everybody work for it. I want to watch Sugar in the Sugar Shack while Dan Kay is out there hunting for it in this giant sand pit. Doesn't even realize the sand pit is there, and Sugar finds it right away. Like, it creates the character rather than just, oh, I tripped, and there it was.
And it gives you character too. Like, when you're searching for things, it like gives the characters like character development and fun things. You learn that I was colorblind through it. You know, I have to poop. That was a funny moment. Like, there's so much fun things that could happen from it. And that idol took us probably 4 days to find. So and we were watching it. We were at the final 4. you're so bored. You're just looking for it all day long. When there's 13 people left, you don't have that time to look for it. So you have to be like really sneaky about it. So it could take 7 days to find, which is even better. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I agree with you 100%.
And one of the best idol find, or one of the best episodes of Survivor, is the Survivor Kageon, where they're doing the wild idol hunt. And like Woo is fun. That's like when Woo really comes out of his shell and he's giving that whole speech about like, and we're over here and we're over there and we're over here. And, and it felt refreshing watching that at the finale, because we're all sitting there and like, I mean, I was in the live audience. Everybody's like going crazy over it. They thought it was great. They thought it was fun. And it feels refreshing, but we've seen it a million times. We just haven't seen it in so long that it's like, wow, Survivor's doing something new that they did in season 11 through 20. So
it's great. Because think about it. Even like Chelsea finding an idol was like, oh, I found it.
Yeah.
Like, all of them was just like, they found it. It was just like, you forgot they had an idol because it was just like, oh, Kelly had 2? Yeah, because you just found Bang Bang. So, it's nuts. But one thing, it's not easy to find idols. Like, even I would search hours every morning and find it, but it's still not fun. They're not going to film me looking for an idol for 5 hours. They're just going to be finding it. But but with the scavenger hunt, they can find you doing this clue to that clue and messing up and me telling somebody and I shouldn't have. And that was so much fun. I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was fun. And I got
Janet walking on the painted piece of wood, like before we knew what that meant. Like all of that was so good.
Yeah. And your heart's pounding. You're like, oh my God, Janet's touching. How do they not realize it? You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's so much fun they can do with it. And like these challenge people, like these people who create all these types of puzzles and stuff, they're smart, really good at their job people. So they have the ability. It's just a matter of actually doing it. You know what I mean? And I think that it's gotten a little lazy. I mean, you look at reward challenge. I mean, there's a lot that goes into building a reward challenge. And like a lot of people go into crafting what challenge can we do. And now they're getting cut from the show. And if that's the case, like maybe they don't think they're going to have the time for it, but I'd rather watch you and Dean, that whole sequence. I'd rather watch that than watch a lot of the other stuff that we saw in your season. And I liked your season, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah, there's so many things they could cut and stuff. But I think what screwed us is that there was the Island of the Idols where they have to show that because they have to show Elaine get that advantage and all these things. So that took away from reward challenges. I would love to talk about some of the reward challenges. One of them was Vokai 2.0 versus Lyro 2.0. And it came down to a beanbag where you had to land beanbags like on a spinning like disc. And it came down to me versus Dean landing these things, and I beat him. So I'd have to just dig that into Dean. So we won pizza and soda, and I don't drink soda, and I had like 7 of these big liters of soda, and I was just like wired, like all over the place, like having a blast, like running around. But I know who says that pizza is awful in Fiji.
Everyone.
Like, I didn't eat for 20 days. I'm like, yo, this is like awful. Like, that's how bad it is.
How do you mess up pizza?
I have no idea. I'm like, yo, I haven't eaten for 20 days.
Come live in LA.
Like, this is awful. But obviously, I ate a whole pie and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're starving. It's still food at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, trust me, guys. Like, we're spoiled being from Jersey, and I know we all live in the Northeast. Like, we're spoiled. Come to LA. The pizza is atrocious. It's so bad.
Miami had bad pizza too. Like, it's
Miami had bad pizza. Yeah,
amazing how bad.
In LA,
do I eat pizza?
Like, now that you're in LA, do you eat it as much?
Not nearly as much. I would go get like dollar slices all the time in New Jersey. Out here, what they do is they do those like fancy pies where it's like, oh, we'll put like whatever. And I'm like, I want like 2 slices of the most disgusting, greasy pepperoni pizza you have. And I want to stuff it in my face so I can leave here in 5 minutes. I'll pay after I eat. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. Like, out here, it's like, no, you must like wait in your like Medici line and like walk up all like fancy. It's ridiculous. There's one really good place out here. It's actually a Greek restaurant that I don't know why they have pizza. Everything else is like random Greek foods, like authentic Greek foods, and they just make pizza and it's delicious. That's the only place.
You got to find those hidden spots, right?
Yeah, that's it. But I just wanted to say that it's easy to mess up pizza. Trust me.
Yeah. What was another one? Oh, my favorite one was the spa. I know Dean talked about it a little bit, but it was an individual challenge where you had to like climb up this tower. It was like a net tower, undo these bags that had like coconuts in it, but like little balls too. And then you had to drag these bags through like an obstacle course. You had like army crawl under this thing. You had to hop over some walls, and then you had to like hit some targets down. So I won that. And they were like, oh, you get to pick somebody. And this was right after Loved Ones reward. And so I was like, I can't pick anyone that I pick for Loved Ones. Let me pick someone else. Mm-hmm. So let me pick Nora, because one, she's going to love that. It's a spa reward. You get a massage. You get a shower. Like, that's all up her alley, like healthy wraps and stuff. I was like, if I pick her, I'm sold. I'm good. I'm locked. And I said, and then he's like, you could pick one more. And I picked Dean. And she's like, well, now I'm not fucking going. And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, this is crazy. And then he was like, well, I wouldn't want to go with you either. He's like, you're 37. You hide someone's shoes. Like, grow up. And I'm like, what did I just get?
I'm going to go.
And then I had a confessional. I was like, legit had like food at the spa. And I was like, well, I got like a free movie out of this. I get to eat, screaming at each other. But something that came out of that reward that they didn't show was, so one person at a time would get a shower, then a massage. The other two would just sit on a couch, which is amazing. How much you miss a couch or a seat.
Couch.
So Dean and I are sitting there. We're drinking some wine. We're in our robes, like totally chicking it up, like just enjoying it, like cheers in our red wine. So Dean says he didn't drink that much. Dean got drunk, and DK chilling turned to DK spilling. And he goes to me, hey, Tommy, that legacy advantage I played was a fake one that I drew. I created the real, I still have the real one. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, so I knew I could play it at 9 or 6. So he goes, I took the back of a tree mail and I painted legacy advantage and handed that. And I was like, damn, that's a good move. And he looks at me, he goes, I just fucked up. I was like, dude,
you didn't mention that to us yesterday.
What'd you say?
You didn't mention that to us yesterday.
Yeah. So then instantly they pulled me for like confessional, and that's when I was like, DK chilling? You mean DK spilling? Like, that guy just made the wrong decision. So I had two options now. I go, do I go and tell everybody, or do I show loyalty now? And I always wanted to sit next to Dean. So I was like, let me not tell everybody. Let me prove my loyalty. So he sits to me at the end. And he couldn't play it anyway at 6. So I was like, at 6 people, if people need to know, then I'll tell them, like, if we want to vote out Dean. But no one was trying to vote out Dean at that point. So I didn't say anything. But he did spill the beans. He did get drunk because he was like, I didn't drink that many beers. I watched yesterday. I was like, nope. He got drunk, and DK spilled to me that he had that. So I told that also at Final Tribal. So when he was like, and I have this, it's blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I knew about that too. I knew about your idol, Janet. I knew about your idol nullifier. I knew about
got drunk and told me.
Yeah, I was like, I knew about everything. And that's when it kind of like deflected that a little bit too.
Did you have any diarrhea like Dean or no?
Oh, so the funniest thing was Dean.
I want to know.
Yeah. So
I didn't, but here we are.
I won every single reward of our season except the chocolate cake that he won at the end. So, and every single reward, I would eat so much, I would lay there for the rest of the day just complaining. And I was like, yo, I'm probably pissing off so many people because I'm complaining that I ate too much. I would go to the bathroom like every 3 seconds. It was like nonstop. Where they had to give me too the same thing they gave Dean, which like clogs you up really quick, which was nice. But we did the burger award with Dean. It was for his birthday, and we were clogged up like crazy. But what was so nuts is like what they do is they call it, you go to coconut tree. So in case it's on film, like they don't want someone like, I'm taking his shit, as me and you were talking strategy. So I'm going to coconut tree. If someone's taking a poop, trying to use 4th grade language here, poop, then no one can go in that area, 1, for privacy, but 2, it's like, if Phil, you're saying I'm going to take poop and then I go take one, they can't film you. Me and you could talk strategy, all that kind of stuff. By the end, Dean and I were going so often that they're like, yo, you two could just go together. Like, so I'm like 20 feet away from this dude, butt naked. He's butt naked. We're pooping next to each other. I'm like, yo, this is weird. And we were just so much in pain where like that didn't even bother us. Like we were just like, you just didn't care that literally there's like a naked dude next to you pooping and you're over here and you're like, I need to go that bad where I have to poop so much. So sorry if you lost a lot of viewers from that, but
I love this is what I like to talk about. Yeah.
Right? There's nothing worth talking about.
That is
it's horrifying. Like the most epic game of battle shits you could possibly play. Did you beat Dean in that as well, or did Dean beat you in something?
No, he never beat me in anything. No.
Okay, so you beat him in battle shits too. Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm bigger, so I can hold more food.
Yeah. Oh my god, and you still lost 29 pounds, probably because everything you ate, it was just
gone.
So what happened was when you're in the final 3, it's pretty cool. So every single time before tribal, they put you in this tent in this lockdown. You just stand there for like 3 hours, and you're nervous. It's pitch black. You're just sitting there. They mic you up. They do all these things as the cameramen get ready. But the final 3, there's no strategy talk that you can do. So that was the first time they're like, you guys can talk. And so and they gave us a chair. Normally they don't give you a chair to lockdown. So they gave us a chair, and we're sitting in the chairs. We're hanging out. And this is when Dr. Joe goes, guys, you're the final 3. You're not getting voted out. Let me do your final weigh-in. So Dr. Joe was like, what do you think? And I was like, I don't know, probably 15 pounds. I was like, I literally won every single reward of our season except one. And I got on like 29 pounds. I'm like, damn. Because you don't notice, you don't get to see yourself. And then when I saw myself in the mirror, I'm like, damn, I look terrible. I need to gain this weight back. But yeah, I was really, really shocked I lost 29 pounds, especially after winning so many rewards.
Yeah. What any other rewards you want to throw at us before we start talking about like winning and how you feel about season 40 and all that fun stuff?
No, let's get to the good stuff.
All right, so let's hear about this like, so you win the season, and of course like Reddit just like, they're happy about it. They're stoked. They're like, Tommy Sheehan, this is exactly who we wanted to win. We wanted Tommy. What was your thing when Nora takes you? Had Nora not taken you, we see you like teaching Dean and all of that, but like had Nora not taken you, had to make fire. You're beating either Dean or Lauren, like no problem, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I am. I know you're trying to make me sound cocky, but
no, I'm not. No, I'm really not. I'm really asking this. Like, I just want you to like say it,
Yeah. So let me rewind of how I got Nora to take me, because there was way more to that than just saying like, hey, take me. You know what I'm saying? So I knew most likely if Lauren wins, we've been loyal this whole time. She either takes me or she takes Nora. But I was like, she probably won't take me. I was like, Dean will take, everyone's going to take Nora. So I was like, so it's either I win or Nora wins. So I was like, let me get to Nora before like she wins. Because once she wins and she's the hottest girl in school, everyone wants a piece of her. Let me talk to her before. So I talked to her before a lot. I'm like, who's going to win this game? I'm like, Lauren. I'm Lauren's sidekick. I'm going to get no votes. Like, I did nothing. Lauren did everything. Lauren's going to win easy. And I go, but Nora, I've never made fire in my entire life. Have you even, and that was our joke. I was like, have I even got a piece of log to start a fire? Have I done anything around camp? I was like, I'm a 4th grade teacher. I don't go outside, like blah, blah, blah. She's like, no. I go, Dean's the best fire maker. She's like, really? I'm like, how would I know that? I literally wasn't on his tribe and at Murray.
Yeah.
Made it. So I was like, yeah. So it was perfect. In the morning, what happened was Janet's gone, so no one to make the fire in the morning. Nora does her like morning ritual. So it's like she does yoga for like an hour. She washes her clothes. Then she goes for a walk. It's like the same thing every morning. So I wake up and just Dean and me there and Lauren sitting there. So I go, dude, my stomach is killing me from all our diarrhea talks. Dean and I connect on that. You know what I'm saying? So I go, Dean, can you please make the fire this morning? Like, I'll make it tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, my stomach's okay. I'll make it. This kid is cutting his fingers. I'm like, yo, hit the flint, not your fingers. Like, what are you doing? It took him like 45 minutes. He finally lights it, gets a fire going. No joke, after 45 minutes, his fingers were literally bleeding. Nora walks up. So I go, hey, Nora, we're going to make rice. Can you help wash these dishes with me? So I go, Nora, Dean made that fire in 2 seconds. She's like, really? I'm like, dude, she's going to destroy Lauren. She's like, locked, in, done. I'm like, awesome. So then Nora wins. She's like, Lauren, I think you're going to win. You're going to fire. Dean, you're so good at making fire. I'm putting you to fire. And he's like, yo, I've never made fire in my life. And she's like, I know you're good at it. Like, don't try. You just made that fire the next day. Like all that. And my favorite line was where he goes, "Tommy played you," and then Jack goes, "No, he played you."
Yeah,
that was a really cool line from my boy Jack. But that wasn't your question. What was your question?
No. I didn't really have a question. I just wanted to hear about the end game
because
we've heard about it from so many other people. And also, when you just told what Nora said, was that really how fast she said it?
What do you mean?
Like you just said, like, "Oh, Lauren, you're gonna go because you're gonna win the game." And
come on.
tell us what that was like from your
hours.
perspective, because you knew you weren't gonna be making fire.
Well, again, Nora just loves the last person to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew she's like, Lauren was her like best friend. They were besties. They would giggle and stuff like that. So she sat us down. She's like, I know who I'm going to take and I know who's going to do fire, but I'm going to go do my afternoon ritual, which is the same thing. Yoga, washes her clothes again. I'm like, Nora, they're the same clothes. Why do you have to wash them 7 times a day? Goes for a walk. And we're just like, yo, are you serious? Like, why are you making us wait? And then she went on this tangent for probably like 30 minutes about how much she loves Lauren, loves this. And I'm like, shit, she's taking Lauren? Don't take Lauren. I was like, that's the worst thing to do. She's like, Lauren, you're going to fire. And to be honest, right at then, I was like, I don't care. My anxiety just went down. I was like, as long as Lauren's in fire,
you win.
I'm good. Because either I'm going, I'll beat her, or Dean's going and I'll teach him. So she picked Dean. I was like, perfect. And everyone's like, Tommy, why didn't you put that move on your belt if you're so good at fire? But fire, everyone knows fire. Fire can, I'm really good at it. I swear I practice all the time. But wind can blow. A twig can fall. Anything can happen with fire. She can get lucky. And that little scrape of magnesium that you need a ton, she only has a little, but it might light. And then I'm screwed. So I'm like, let me be safe. One, it's a good move for the final jury to show like, damn, Tommy's that good socially, because that was my whole game, right?
Yeah.
He's that good socially where he got someone to take him to the end. But then also I'm like, I can get Dean to do my dirty work.
Yeah.
So then I spent a lot of time with Dean working. And then Nora even goes at one point, she goes, wait, you're really good at fire, Tommy. And I was like, no. Like Janet told me all of these tricks. Like I'm just relaying it. And she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh crap. I'm like, don't be stupid, Tommy. But then there was also that like feeling inside of me that like I might go to fire. That like she might be that good at this game where she's like, no, I want Tommy out of this game. Let him not practice all day and let me put him to fire. So I did have a machete by the water well with a flint, and I was practicing.
Yeah.
So I did practice that day with no one noticing, just in case Nora was going to put me to fire.
So why do you think that it would have been more respected? I'm not even saying from the jury because you ended up winning 8-2, but why do you think it would have been more respected from the interwebs here if you would have said, I'm going to make fire, if you would have sat down and made fire and beaten Lauren rather than just convincing Nora that you belong in the end? Like, why do you think that people don't appreciate that as much as doing it? Like, why can't they just appreciate the social ability of doing it? Like, why?
And what's crazy about that too, it's so much harder to convince the winner of the season to get taken and then teach someone to take someone out. That was way harder for me to do and way more respectable in my mind and to my jury. Thank God they believed it. Yeah, I could have went against Lauren, beat her, and then they'd be like, yo, you won fire. Who cares? Chris Underwood just won fire, and everyone hates him as a winner too. So,
and Ben, and everybody hates everybody.
It's the concept of the fire.
They wanted a winner to never play an idol, to never play an advantage. They hate the fire making challenge. I broke everything they hate, and they still hate me. So I don't know what makes them happy. I don't know.
The last universally loved winner is Michelle. That's the last universally loved one. So
I actually just saw on Facebook they said, "Who wants Michelle to win?" She got 2%. So,
and I was all of those votes. I was 9,000 votes, and I just kept making burner accounts.
Yeah, I would like Michelle to win. Yeah, she's I met her. Very nice.
Whoa! We're gonna have to talk here. We're gonna get to season 40, but Alexa, go.
I have one last question before we get to season 40. So, at what point in the game? Because throughout this, you've said Dean and I have been together since the merge. Laura and I have been together forever. At what point are you saying I need to go to the end with Dean and I need to put Lauren in fire?
So what happened was at the beginning of merge, and you even hear me in confessionals, I was calling myself Lauren's sidekick because I wanted to be a dynamic duo, but I wanted her to be the powerhouse. Mm-hmm. If someone's going to come for us, it's going to be her. but I also had so many more open doors. I had Janet. She thought we were number ones. I had Dan. My favorite line from everything was Sandra saying, 6 people came to Island of the Idols and said, you're their number one. So I was doing something right. I had all these avenues. Why would I want to sit next to Lauren, who I've been calling myself her sidekick, who I pitched as this amazing player? She is an amazing player. She's unbelievable. As I'm pitching, we made all these moves together. It's going to be so hard to then separate that. And I feel like everyone does want a female winner and everything like that. So I think it was going to be very hard road for me. It was going to be really battling at Final Jury. I would have attacked it in a way different way. I was like, where I can sit next to Dean, where I was very smart the whole time of just saying like, hey, Dean's a GOAT. Everyone gets sit next to Dean. So I was pitching that in people's brains. And the more people hear that throughout Merge, the more people they start believing it. And then the one thing that really solidified it for me was Elaine when she was going home. And you already talked to her. She stood up when she was trying to convince people to do this and goes, you all need to wake up. Tommy's winning $1 million and you all believe he's taking you to the end. All of you, he can't take to the final 3 and he's going to beat all of you. Wake up. And then she went down. She's like, Dean, you're a GOAT. Make this move tonight. And went through. I'm like, so she even called Dean a GOAT in front of the whole jury. So I was like, bam, that's who I want to take, because it's what the jury thinks. And what's so hard is, like, as a TV person, you know what the jury's kind of thinking because you're thinking the same thing as them, right? But we have no idea what the jury's thinking. So I was like, if people are calling Dean a GOAT in front of the jury at Final 7, I'm taking that guy to the end, or he could take me to the end, or what, vice versa. But Lauren, she was so good at the games and probably beats me. I don't know. So that's that.
So you think she beats you if you get to Final 3?
It would have been really hard for me to answer that question because we pitched her as our Final 4 for the beginning of the game. Okay. So everyone loves to do this. Like, what if? What if Vince made it to the final? Would he have won? I don't know. He didn't make it there. Get what I'm saying? So I know everyone wants to pitch it. It would have been a really good final. It would have been a Dom and Wendell. But we didn't get her there. But here's the other thing. I would have pitched. So everyone heard my final tribal speech, right? Mine would have been 1,000% different if Lauren was sitting there.
Yeah.
My final tribal was like, I know Nora's not going to win. I have to deflect this advantage. So all my thing was like, advantage this. It's a souvenir in your back, in your backpack. You can hang it up on your wall. It did nothing. You got a phone. So I was attacking Dean's game. If Lauren's there, I would have attacked it so differently. I would have started right from Merge and said, guys, who voted out Kelly? Was it Lauren that was her other number 1? No, that was my move. Then let's go to the next move. Aaron and Missy went home. You were in the majority, Lauren. I was in the minority. I didn't have you. It was 4 Lyro girls and me, and I didn't go home. So that's another move on my belt. You still don't have one.
Who would have gotten the Jamal vote? Because we've skipped that one pretty much the entire podcast.
Jamal was that was one of the easy votes.
That was an easy one. Okay.
It was just like he was going. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that wasn't like a big move. So that I made the Kelly move. I escaped the 4-1, thing. And then after that, we made every move together. Yeah. So that would have been my take to it. But she also found an idol, but she misplayed it. But she won an immunity, which she would have went home on. So that would have been huge for her. And winning fire would have been huge for her too. So it would have been really, really close. But I think she probably would have edged me out and beat me because she played the game. I would love to see her again because she would make it just as far. And I think she would.
Yeah.
And I would love to root for her because, like, again, I love her. I text her every day. Imagine now not being competing against her and getting to watch her. I would love to go and root for her.
Yeah, I get that. So speaking of like not competing, rooting. So every time I've talked to Nicole, all she says is like, "Wouldn't he have been great on season 40? Wouldn't he have been great on season 40?" Now, Tommy, you asked me what I thought about your game, and I don't know if you want to say it out loud, but you said, "Where would you rank me as a winner?" And I want to know like where you think you would have fit as a winner. Maybe you want to repeat what I said to you, and then maybe you want to, tell us how you think you would have done on season 40 here.
So I don't know how I rank as a winner. I've come to terms where every winner deserves to win. And definitely that's true. So no matter who, like, I was always Russell Hand's fan. I was always like, he played Samoa. Like, no way he have not won, but he didn't. And as a fan, I watched the edited version. So now I realize, wow, he probably was 10 times more worse and stuff like that. Awful and stuff. So that's bad social gameplay. Like, that's bad part of this game. Yeah, so he was really good strategic. So I don't know how I rank. So people tell me, like Rob has a podcast, he said that I was Todd from Survivor China, to people saying I'm the worst of all time. I'm literally the 39th. So I have no clue. I don't really care. But I know if I played 40, I would have won. I would have only had to play 3 days, and I still would have won. I would have been first one voted off, edge of extinction, and then I would have just won from there.
You would have just won from there. I love that it's not you who's 39th, it's your season that's 39th, Tommy. Your season is 39th. Duh, come on.
Oh,
it's the worst season of all time. But yeah, I mean, what did I tell you? Where did I say you rank? Do you remember?
I don't listen.
You don't remember? Okay, good. Yeah, Tommy wasn't drunk. Okay. All the school kids are in bed. It's 11, 12 at night. No, Tommy wasn't drunk. No, you asked me, because Tommy was like very emotional after his win. He was very excited. He said to me, where would you rank me as a winner? I said, you want to be honest? He said, yeah. He said, I can take it. That's what he said. And I said, I'd put you right behind Michelle Fitzgerald. And he pretty much screamed at me for like 5 straight minutes. It was pretty crazy. They almost had to bring in like a bouncer.
Where do you rank Michelle Fitzgerald though?
Well, exactly. But what I said to you after that is I said, you were like, well, Michelle, how can I be? And I was like, you're not behind her. It really does come down to everybody who plays their season. You have to play a different way. Like what you're talking about in this tell-all, Ethan Zahn didn't have to deal with. And Ethan Zahn is about to play against Michelle Fitzgerald.
Yep.
And like he didn't have to deal with that. Amber Mariano and Boston Rob. Boston Rob became famous because of the game he played early, not because of his Redemption Island game. There were no idols when Boston Rob dominated Survivor. They didn't exist. And now, like, it's like, how could you rank these people? What Chris Underwood did is nothing like what anybody else did. But like, yeah, is he the worst winner? Probably, because he played for 16 days or whatever it was. But it's so impossible. So I just think what's interesting about 40, and the reason why I wish that they could have had more people on it, and I wish that really, like, I think that they probably weren't going to put the season 39 winner on no matter who it was. Yeah. Just because it was
the timing,
and whatever. But I wish that they could have put pretty much like all of the winners on, because you have no idea who the best winner is. And I still say whoever wins 40 probably isn't going to be the best winner. But what do you think about 40, and how bad do you wish that you would have been out there for it?
I'm going to just piggyback off everything you just said.
Okay.
There's so much left in my game that I didn't need to play. I played from the top. Luckily, my Vokai won a lot of immunities. I didn't have to win challenges, immunity, but I showed I could with the rewards and everything. So if I needed to, I could do the idol immunity game, but that's not what my season called for. So I would love to get a chance to play against these season 40s. And right now, no one views me as a physical threat. No one views me as the idol guy. Most people view me as loyal until I need to be disloyal. Who wouldn't want to like work with someone like that? But then I could betray way earlier. If I play from the bottom, you don't know how many different plans I have and I came up with of like the idol reverse, and I was coming up with all these things like David Wright did that I was going to play. So I would love to play again to show a different side of me. Is that your question, or are you saying which winners?
Who's going to win season 40?
Who's winning season 40? It's between 3 for me. Boston Rob.
Whoa.
Cop Sarah and Adam Klein. Because those are the Reddit's favorite 3 winners with me. So I'm going to go with one of those 3. No, who do I think is going to win is something that keeps changing. I'm going to go who I think can win, who I want to win. Mm-hmm. So who I think could win is like Boston Rob, right? Sandra, Poverty. Like, they're not winning this game.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, what is wrong with you? Where are you going here?
They're just not winning. But who I think could win is someone like Cop Sarah or Wendell, or someone that's just like, wow, Wendell showed to be loyal. Why wouldn't I want to work with him? He wasn't like a Kim Spradling where like she's going to dominate. If Kim makes it to the end, she's going to win because everyone thinks she's the best already. So there's so many threats where I feel like if you're not one of those huge names, you have a shot to win this game. Yeah. Like Michelle Fitzgerald, she has a shot to win this game. I actually really would love to see Adam Klein win.
I think he's the craziest one that people hate on, because I really don't understand. Like, I'm friends with Adam, but I still don't understand why people are so anti-Adam.
Yeah, people love
He's a
to hate
super
him.
fan.
Really?
Like, he's a super fan who played the game and like won a really good season. It's like, man, he is just so insanely hated. It's unreal.
Yeah, it's
won
weird.
a good season, was a great winner, had a great story, and was like, wasn't he like a Reddit guy? Doesn't he play like the things online?
He was a fan of us before he went out there.
He's like a huge Survivor nerd. It's so weird.
I don't know what they want. You know, obviously they want to win, so
they want to complain. They want to have something to complain about.
I think it's like they don't get a chance to play, so then they get mad at it. So I don't know, but
that's what I do, man.
Yeah, exactly. Who do I don't think Yule's going to do good. Everyone thinks everyone thinks Yule's going to do well. I think people are on to him already. I feel like people are like, Yule would be like the typical like, well, you know, he's nice, he's loyal, he's logical, but all these players aren't.
Yeah.
Like there's Tony out there. There's people like that where they're going to be like, I don't want to work with Yule. Like everyone's going to want to work with Yule. Let's vote him out before people work with him. So I think that more of these like unlogical players, these crazy, these like advantage type players that you never know what they're thinking, like Poverty, are going to be like, yo, let's knock out some of these straightforward people like Ethan or like Adam Klein or, you know, Yule real early. And then I think the game's just going to break wide open. But if Boston Rob sits at the end, no matter what he plays, he wins. If Sandra sits at the end and she literally didn't do anything, she's going to win. Because how do you let Sandra get to the end? If I'm a jury member, and Sandra's sitting there and she literally is the biggest goat of all time and did nothing, I'm still throwing her my vote because this girl won twice and still got to the end again. Like, you got my vote.
Yeah.
So I think people are not dumb with taking them to the end either.
Yeah. Yeah. So who would you like? Because I just last pretty much question on this, and then we can just close this out. But who would you have wanted to work with, though, had you actually been able to go out there? Not to blow up your game, in case you could ask for all winners too, but who would you have wanted to work with?
What's cool is what would have been great for me. I'll answer this question in two parts. What would have been great for me is I would have played and no one would even know. Like, I would come on the mat and they'd be like, yo, who the hell is that big red, long, pale, goofy looking guy? They're like, I don't even know this guy's name.
Cochran got huge.
What'd you say?
Cochran got huge.
Cochran got
huge. Is that Cochran's stepbrother? So I think that's a huge advantage because everyone has their pregame alliances where now I could just slide into one of those. That's like how Russell made it to the end, right? And Malcolm. I feel like people like those, it's just like they played back to back and they were just like, all right, come join our alliance because we want an extra number. So I think that would have been a huge advantage. Now that people know me and know my game, I think I would love to have worked with Sandra. I think, one, she's a shield. Everyone's going to want to vote her out before me. But I feel like you can work with her. You can do things like that. And I have a good relationship with her now.
Yeah.
Who else would I like to work with? I would love to work with the bigger threats. I feel like I wouldn't have clinged on to Adam, Michelle, Yule. I would be like, yo, Poverty. I don't put myself in their categories at all. I'm not. And that's why I would want to work with them. Poverty's a way better player than me. Boston Rob's a way better player than me. Sandra's a way better player than me. Tony, all those types of players. I would be like, yo, let me work with you guys. And then I would have been golden because we would have had the majority. And if you're going to flip, you're not voting me out. You're going to vote Boston Rob out. If you're going to vote me out, you're going to vote Sandra out. So kind of what I did in my season where I would stick with big threats. And then they would go one, boom, 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 boom. And then there's me sitting there and be like, hey, look, remember me? And be
Yeah. No, I love it. I think that would have been fun, but you played like 2 seasons too late, man.
There's 2. Final 3 will be you, Bob Crowley, and Fabio.
I would love to play with Bob Crowley. Fabio, I don't know how I would handle him, but I would work with Fabio too. That would be fun.
Yeah. And we just want you to know that another Survivor podcast is here, and they say
they are bored.
They have a question.
I heard that podcast. I heard they only get like 10 viewers.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Except for when they bring the specialists on.
Yeah. No, that's when I watched. That's when I heard of them. Yeah. That's why everything you want is to get a following.
Oh yeah.
Well, Swagman Tommy. Yeah, Swagman Tommy. Do you have anything else you want to throw us? I know right now you're probably going to die. Did you call out sick already for tomorrow?
No, I can't call out sick because now they have video evidence that I stayed way past bedtime.
Yeah.
So I will be in school tomorrow. So I gotta drink 5 coffees because I'm going to be up in like 5 hours, but this was a lot of fun. But Alexa, you didn't ask your question.
I didn't. Do you want to ask it and answer it?
Yeah. So what did I do to prepare for Survivor? I'll do it really fast because I know you love hearing that. It's funny. I started out by saying I'm a big physical guy, and in casting, I was definitely the biggest guy because Aaron wasn't there. I didn't see those. So I was like, let me eat Big Macs. Let me stop working out. Let me gain some fat. Let me lose my muscle so I don't look intimidating or I don't look like a challenge beast. A month later, I'm like, I'm still 6'4", 200 pounds. Like, this is not working. This is stupid. So I was just like, all right, let me go back to the gym. Let me just do my normal stuff. But I did go like 2 days without eating at all and try to teach 4th graders and made it a point to not get snippy, to not get mad. No matter, Mr. Sheehan, Mr. Sheehan, Mr. Sheehan, Mr. Sheehan, I'd be like, yes, how's it going? Oh my God, that's great. So doing that off 2 days of not eating, no coffee, no nothing. If I can deal with 23 4th graders, I can deal with anybody on the island like Nora. So I was practicing like not exploding, not doing those things off no food, no sleep. And then I would watch so many seasons, but I would pick the seasons that had people. Watch Malcolm. Why did he lose? Why did Ozzy lose? I'd pick people like in my archetype. And I would say, like, why did that person lose? And what can I do? And I think Tyson did that where he faked an arm injury. And that's what I did. I said, I had a shoulder problem. I can't hold it. Dean said in his thing, right? Tommy claimed he had a shoulder thing. He couldn't hold his thing up. So I milked that shoulder injury, and that really did help actually a ton. So I did fake a shoulder injury on the island, and I got that from Tyson's season. So I kind of picked different people to watch their seasons based on my archetype because I'm not going to play a game like Poverty. I don't look like her. I can't flirt like her. I can't. So why am I going to watch her win the game?
No, I think that's a really cool way to look at it. I don't think we've ever heard that before from anybody. And what did you list? Did you listen to anything in specific before you went out there? Was there anything like you were really listening to that you thought helped you a lot?
Survivor, NSFW.
Yeah. What are their 10 listeners?
How cool can you just say that? So it's funny. So I'm going to drop it here. Like, Rob has a podcast I listen to here and there. You know, I listen to everything. Your podcast by far is my favorite. And this is not just because I'm on it. I would find out so much information on these tell-alls. Like, even for like casting, like, you know how I told a little bit about casting and like how I kind of bonded with Janet. The reason I was telling that too is because if case any players in here, like MLB Joey is trying to get on Survivor, he can be like, oh my God, Tommy built that Tommy and his mommy in finals. Let me try to do that. So I try to like pick up on little, because there's so many behind the scenes that I just told you that you don't get on the other podcasts, which is really cool. That's why I listen to you guys. And that's why I name dropped you at my pregame press, which
as you heard, we lost our minds when you did that.
Yeah. And I think every Survivor player from here on out should do that. I think that's just the right thing to do. I think you should name drop the Survivor specialist. I think that you should follow in Tommy's footsteps. Tommy won. Okay. Adam Klein and Tommy Sheehan have both won. Adam Klein won a buff from us, which we're going to be doing our prop bet game probably in the next week and a half or so. Adam Klein won a buff from us before he went out and played Millennials vs. Gen X. And Tommy Sheehan listened to us before he went out and played Survivor Island of the Idols. They both won $1 million. Just saying. I'm just saying.
That's it.
I don't know, man. I think that's the best thing you can really end on is just talking about how great we were. Unless you want to talk about Disney mugs just because Johnny's here, but I guess probably not.
No, send him one. If you know his address, I'll send him one so he can have fun for one. So, I'll go for the next.
Oh, that's horrifying.
I love that, but I want to have you back on at some point, Tommy, because I think that we just need a podcast where we like have Alexa take the day off and it's just me and Tommy and people can just be confused and annoyed the entire time.
Yeah, and let me put my name as Phil and you can put yours as Swagman Tommy.
Exactly.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah. And then I'll leave the podcast and you answer it.
And right now my hair is like a month and a half long, so I actually am going to get it cut, but I'll make sure I'll wear the backwards snap back. It'll be fantastic. I love it.
And then next one, let's do it not way past my bedtime.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do it on like a weekend. I mean, we're running out of time here, man. Season 40. Everybody like wants to talk about season 40, and here we are. We have Alexa. I don't want to steal your thunder here, but we got Karishma tomorrow, and we just booked Lauren for Monday, so we're not done. We're not done.
Awesome.
We are not done.
Enjoy it. I will see Karishma. You, Alexa, right, on Friday
night.
We could FaceTime you and Phil.
Thank you. Yeah, man. I won't be doing anything because I don't have any friends. So on Friday night, I'll be sitting here in my apartment, probably in the same chair with the TV off. So
yeah, just
let me know what you're up to.
Venmo us like $20 to like and buy our drinks, and we'll Venmo you in.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll drink Bud Light Seltzer, which is my new favorite beverage because it's hilarious. The Bud Light Seltzer. Oh, it's delicious. But anyway, yeah. Alexa, you want to take us home? You want to say goodnight to Tommy so he doesn't?
Yeah, well, Phil, you totally stole my thunder. So tomorrow we are talking to Karishma at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then we are wrapping up our season 39 tell-alls on Monday at 9:30 Eastern with Lauren. So again, excited. Tommy, you won. So he's also might be frozen. Oh, there he is. No, Tommy, you won. So everything you said is true, but I'm really excited for Karishma and Lauren to just totally tear it apart.
There you go. That's what it's all about, right?
Tommy, let me ask you a question. You have that snapback on right now. If you were to wear that and it said Survivor Specialist on the front, that'd be pretty cool, right?
Oh, I would love to hear a link that I could buy from.
Yeah, we have it now.
Whoa, nice transition.
We finally put it up, and I got to actually put it into the description of the video here, but we finally have a store. So we have our Spreadshirt. You can get phone cases, hats, T-shirts, all that stuff. Mugs, yes, mugs. Those are very good.
Looking at you, Johnny Fairplay.
That's it.
Yeah, Johnny Fairplay. You can buy a new toy, get a mug. But yeah, so I think that we finally got that up and running literally 3 days ago. It started out on Sunday. Intern really put it all together, so want to give him his shout out. But I just was looking at that snapback. I'm like, damn, we have like the same thing. It probably looks so much better turned around frontwards if it said Survivor Specialist on it. But when it doesn't say that, you put it backwards.
Gotcha. When I do the power rankings, I'll have it on.
There you go. And you will have to do the power rankings for all winners, considering you won. We'll have to dig up all the winners who didn't win for the power rankings.
There you go.
That would not that didn't win. All the winners who didn't get asked back.
Yeah.
But Alexa, you want to? What else? What else do we have to say? I stole your thunder again.
No, that was all kind of it. Let's let Tommy and myself go to bed.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go eat dinner.
All right. Night, everybody.
Good night, Tommy.